Welcome to our channel, where we bring you in-depth perspectives on the works that are shaking up the small screen with unexpected twists and fierce conflicts between love, power, and family secrets. Here, every detail, every character is dissected, recreated, and expanded so that the audience can fully immerse themselves in the complex world of Fairmont Crest. And today, we will take you to a climax moment where love, betrayal, and pride collide fiercely, opening up a series of unpredictable consequences. In the sparkling garden of Fairmont Crest, a place that is often used as a setting for lavish parties and elegant gatherings, the atmosphere suddenly becomes so heavy that it is suffocating. Kat stepped out of the lobby, her face showing signs of fatigue after the whispers and family pressure weighing heavily on her shoulders. Amidst the bustling space with music echoing from inside, she found a quiet corner for herself. But that silence only lasted for a moment when Randy appeared, his eyes following her with concern, his arms reaching around to pull her closer as if to give her some warmth. Kat hesitated, her heart skipped a beat. She did not let go immediately. Her wavering eyes reflected the inner struggle between reason and the desire to be comforted. That seemingly fragile moment became the spark that led to a fierce storm. Tomas appeared from afar, his footsteps heavy as he witnessed that scene. In his hand was a glass of red wine that sparkled under the light, but it soon fell from his hand, shattering on the tiled floor, the sharp sound tearing the atmosphere apart. The red liquid spread like blood, drawing a terrifying streak right under his feet. Tomas's breath was rapid, his body trembling with anger, his eyes burning as he saw the woman he loved in the arms of another. No longer calm, he rushed forward, swinging his arm to push Randy away with pent-up force. Randy fell down the steps, his shoulder hitting the stone with a dry sound that made Kat panic. She raised her hand to stop him but was pushed away. Tomas was no longer himself, but the embodiment of pain, jealousy, and uncontrollable rage. Blood dripped from the corner of Randy's lips, his gaze was full of challenge, the sarcastic smile that bloomed like a knife cutting straight into Tomas's heart. Kat stood still, her feet glued to the ground, her eyes wide open as she watched the two men about to charge into each other in a merciless confrontation. The air was so thick that every heartbeat could be heard clearly. All the sparkling lights in the garden seemed to sway at the same time, reflecting the tension, fear, and anger that was spreading. But the story did not stop there. Fairmont Crest was not only a place for lavish parties, but also a curtain hiding a series of secrets that each member tried to bury. Tomas carried many wounds from the past, when he witnessed his father being betrayed, leaving a deep psychological scar. Therefore, for him, loyalty and trust in love were absolute, and any sign of betrayal made him unable to control himself. The moment he saw Kat in Randy's arms awakened all the ghosts of the past, making Tomas furious. Randy was different, he was not an outsider. For many years, he had always admired and longed for the position that Tomas held, both in the family and in Kat's heart. That defiant look was not just a momentary reaction, but a tacit declaration that he was ready to confront to get what he wanted. The blood on the corner of his lips made his image even more fierce, like someone who had stepped out of the war and was ready to continue fighting to the end. Kat was trapped in that vortex, her mind was in turmoil because of her love for Tomas. The care she accidentally found in Randy, and the pressure from the Dupree family that always put on her shoulders the burden of making the right choice for the future. At that moment, she clearly felt that no matter who she reached out to, the consequences would leave a wound that would be difficult to heal. The sound of the wind rustling through the trees, the music from the hall gradually faded away, giving way to a terrifying silence. Tomas clenched his fists, his eyes glaring at Randy, while Randy slowly stood up, wiping the blood with the back of his hand, his gaze unwavering. The two were like two wild beasts about to charge at each other, and Kat was the only one who could stop them, but she was powerless against the power of conflicting emotions. In that moment, the shimmering garden of Fairmont Crest was no longer a peaceful place, but turned into an invisible battlefield where love was tested, where the past and present intertwined to create a suffocatingly tense drama. And then from the moment Tomas threw Randy down, a series of new consequences were triggered, dragging not only the three people involved but also the entire Dupree family. Where long-hidden secrets began to leak like cracks in a flashy wall. In the following days, news of the conflict in the garden spread rapidly in the closed community of Fairmont Crest. No one dared to speak out, but the eyes, the scrutiny, and the gossip could not be stopped. The hidden forces in the family began to take advantage of this incident to stir up trouble, pushing Tomas, Kat and Randy into a difficult position. Love, loyalty, and ambition weave together in a web that can trap anyone. Tomas must confront himself, his unresolved past, and the anger that has driven him out of control. Randy finds an opportunity to step in, exploiting the uncertainty to prove his worth. Kat remains at a crossroads, where her heart and mind are torn apart, where every step could send her spiraling into the abyss. The story at the Fairmont Crest Garden that night is more than just a simple emotional conflict. It opens a new chain of tragedy, where every small action can spark a huge explosion, where the glittering light cannot hide the increasingly obvious cracks in the seemingly perfect picture. And the audience knows that, from that moment on, beyond the gates will never be peaceful again. Because love has turned to hate, and secrets that have been hidden for too long finally find their way to the surface.